Hello, my name is Mark. I'm the creator and copyright holder of all works presented on this channel. Welcome to Dramas, Dreams, and Drollery. Many viewers tell me that they're unfamiliar with the word drollery. It means humor or comedy. Today I have for you a play, a comedy, actually a farce. It is sheer silliness, and I hope pleasing to you. The name of the play is Buford Buzz. The year is 1959. Picture a small Midwestern town of that era, minus realism. What you have is typical provincialism in a community where everyone knows everyone else and gossip is rife. Buford is the name of the town, and the Buzz is the local newspaper. Reading this play to you presents a major problem. There are numerous characters, all with ridiculous names. You listeners might have difficulty remembering who is who. Therefore, I shall start by reading the names of the characters in their order of appearance within the play. This will enable you to refer back to them at any time. I will read them slowly so you could write them down if you wish. To enable you to fetch pencil and pen, I'll pause at this time for 1 minute. Okay, I hope you're ready now. Here are the names. Bubbles Banter, Spin Porter, Humphrey Pumpernickel, Moody Knuckles, Emily Thistlethorpe, Fuzzy Lurch, Sylvester Grunt, Ambrose Slick Fox, Polly Flubberly, Reggie Bullitt, Jed Bubinski, Bunny Cricket, Conrad Blunderfuss, Confucius Wu, Hieronymus Hoodwink, Beulah Thud, Cassandra Fingermeister, Gertrude Smirk, Raina Hincapie, Lexington Logjammer, Thaddeus Pinchpenny, Lulu Frippery, Pelham Waterpuff III, Lolita Cha-Cha Febozo, Corky Weinberger, Butch Turnbull, Blanche Bubinski, and Buster Muldooney. Again, the setting is Buford, a small Midwestern town. The year is 1959. A spotlight shines on Bubbles Banter, who is seated in a chair on the left side of the stage in front of the closed curtain. On a table beside her are a telephone and a newspaper. She dials the phone. Banter. Hello? Is this the Good Samaritan Hospital? Since last Wednesday, you've had a patient named Luna Locklip in room 209. She's a dear friend of mine. I've been told that she has a private telephone line and that it's permissible for outsiders to call patients at this hour. May I speak to her, please? Yes, thank you. Oh, Luna dear, this is Babbles Banter. How are you feeling? I'm so sorry about what happened to you. On Thursday, all of us in the heirloom sewing circle were having tea as usual when Rosalind Pimplebeak walked in and gave us the dreadful news. She said you were on a ladder observing your neighbors when you lost your balance and fell. Of course I understand. One must keep an eye on undesirables like the lurches. After all, most responsible citizens of Buford, like you and me, have agreed to participate in neighborhood watch programs. How badly were you hurt? Compound fracture of the right leg? Sounds quite serious. I understand that Abigail Killjoy visited you on Saturday. Abigail told us that Dr. Throb expects you to remain in the hospital for at least a month. I'm terribly sorry that I haven't visited you, but you know that I don't drive anymore, and the weather's been turning cold lately. It's difficult for me to go clear across town to the hospital. Nevertheless, I know how important it is for you to keep informed of what's happening in our little community. So, if you'd like, I'll call you from time to time to tell you what the Buford Buzz is reporting. And, of course, I'll add a few personal observations to give you a truer picture of local affairs. You know one can't fully trust those liberal publications. I have a copy of today's Buzz in my hands. She looks at the paper. Monday, November 1. My, I didn't realize that it was already November. The lead stories today are all about the weather. They're predicting a colder winter than usual. Do you suppose that the communists are responsible for that? A cold winter would slow down the American economy. It's hard to know, but I wouldn't put it past them. Everything in Buford seems to be getting worse and worse. I noticed in the paper today that both the Pandora Box Cafe and the Buford Market are advertising for workers. It's tragic that they have to ask for help when the streets are full of idlers and vagrants. Like that Corky Weinberger, for example. According to the Buzz, the police jailed him last night for drunkenness. Police also arrested Butch Turnbull and a juvenile for fighting. Abigail told me the unnamed boy was that awful Moody Knuckles. There's so much to worry about these days, as if communism and crime weren't enough. Obvious signs of moral depravity confront us at every turn. Can you believe that the primary advertisement of Bumblebee's department store today is for seductive evening perfume? What's this country coming to? Now, let me tell you about something that is important that is not in today's Buzz. The attorney, Lexington Logjammer, is defending the Black Marshmallow nightclub against attempts by the city to close down that wicked establishment. I say that any business operated by foreigners, what's that woman's name? Oh yes, Fatima Farouk, an Egyptian. Well, any business run by foreigners should be thoroughly investigated by the FBI. I'm sorry, dear, but I can't give you a full report right now. I have to catch a bus to Riverdale. My cousin Maud is sick and needs my help. I'll be back in 2 or 3 days. All of us at Heirloom will miss you terribly on Thursdays. Penny Do-Gooder said to tell you that she'll probably visit you on Wednesday. I'll call you again soon. Bye. The spotlight goes off. End of scene 1. Scene 2. Exactly the same arrangement as in scene 1. The curtain is still closed. Bubbles Banter dials the phone, and there's a pause. Banter. May I please speak with Miss Locklip in 209? Thank you. Oh, hello, Luna. This is Babbles. Sorry it's been so long since I last called. Unfortunately, my cousin Maud was much sicker than I thought, so I had to stay in Riverdale for a whole week. Let me tell you, I learned a lot about Riverdale. The situation is even worse there than in Buford. You wouldn't believe the horror stories I heard. But we have enough troubles in our own community, so I won't go into that. The last time I called, I said I would pass along what the Buzz is reporting. Well, I have today's paper right here with me. Corky Weinberger was drunk again last night. That's the 5th or 6th time this month that he spent a night in jail. He never learns. Career criminals like him should be locked up for years. And then they'd learn. I have to tell you the cutest thing. Jessica Smooch just gave birth to twin boys. They named the first child Pete. You'll never guess what they called the second one. Repeat. Yes, isn't that the cutest thing you've ever heard? Right now, the whole town is talking about the Humane Society's big fundraiser on the 12th. That's day after tomorrow. It's going to be a very classy affair. Allison Ritz will be the hostess. The guest of honor will be Pelham Waterpuff III. The buzz says that Mr. Waterpuff will bring along the famous European composer Ignacio Zisca. Wouldn't you give your good leg to get an invitation? All the county's smartest and most illustrious people will be there. Now for the big story of the day. The headline says, "School Crackdown on Unruly Students." At Sunnyside High School, they've been having more and more trouble with wayward youths. I don't know if they should be called juvenile delinquents, but many of those students are headed in the wrong direction. Fortunately, we've got strong administrators at the school. Both Humphrey Pumpernickel, the principal, and Emily Thistlethorpe, the vice principal, are serious law and order people. Mr. Pumpernickel is a good Republican, by the way. I don't know Miss Thistlethorpe's political views, but she is a police officer in her spare time. Anyone who would do that must have an upright character, wouldn't you agree? Yesterday, there was a big fight on the Sunnyside campus. At least one boy was suspended. I hope the ruffians got more punishment than just that. Paddling would teach them a good lesson. I don't know what we ladies of the sewing circle can do. Perhaps we could observe some classes and take down the names of suspicious-looking children. You know, the kind that administrators might overlook. We'll have to talk about this some more when you get out of the hospital. Speaking of the hospital, who is your nurse? Oh, yes, I know Felicia Jinks. You're in good hands with Miss Jinks and Dr. Throb. Well, I suppose I should let you rest. Penelope said she would take you some of those gingerbread cookies that you love. I'll call you in a few days. Bye. Spotlight turns off Bubbles' banter. Immediately thereafter, a spotlight shines on Spin Porter, who's standing on the right front side of the stage with the curtain still closed. Porter: heard enough? I certainly have. Those heirloom sewing circle windbags are always snooping around. They think they know everything about this town. The truth is, they know very little. They get pieces here and there, but by the time they pass them along themselves, the true picture is terribly distorted. It takes a professional reporter like me to get the correct picture. Let me introduce myself. In case you don't know, I'm Spin Porter, a journalist for The Buzz. Now you might ask, if I know the true story, and I'm a newsman, why don't I print all the facts? Simply asking that question tells me that you've never worked on a small town newspaper. In a place like Buford, everybody knows everybody else, and many people have direct communications to the owner of the paper or the editor. If I told all that I knew about any sensitive story, I would make lifetime enemies. There would be a civil war in the community and civil suits all over the county. Probably my wife would divorce me. No, the truth has to take a back seat to local politics. Every story has to be coaxed and coddled and patted before it goes to press. And somehow it has to come out resembling reality. If you only knew the truth. Take, for example, that story about the high school. There was a lot more to it than what Babbles reported. Tell you what, you look like discreet people to me. If I tell you what really happened, can you keep it to yourself? You can? Okay, this is what really happened on Tuesday the 9th. The spotlight goes off. The curtain rises. The setting is a classroom at Sunnyside High School. Principal Humphrey Pumpernickel and Vice Principal Emily Thistlethorpe bring 4 students into the room. The students are Moody Knuckles, Sylvester Grunt, Fuzzy Lurch, and Slick Fox. Pumpernickel restrains Moody to keep him from hitting others. Pumpernickel to Moody, "All right, that's enough." Then to Thistlethorpe he says, "Miss Thistlethorpe, I think it would be best to separate these boys. I'll take Moody to the office with me. Can you manage the other 3? Thistlethorpe, "Oh yes, Moody was the aggressor. I'll be firm with these 3. Is this Mr. Wu's room we're in? I wasn't sure whose it was. I brought the boys in here simply because it was convenient and quiet." Pumpernickel, "Yes, Wu is a bit careless at times. He often leaves his classroom unlocked during lunch." And to Moody he says, "Okay, Moody, let's go." They exit with Moody sulking. Thistlethorpe, "Now, boys, that was very bad behavior. You nearly got into a serious fight over what was virtually nothing." Fuzzy, "He's just a stupid jerk." Thistlethorpe, "Whether he is or not, you didn't have to goad him that way. You know he has a very bad temper." Sylvester, "Well, he didn't have to call us names." Thistlethorpe, "That's true, but I think you boys can control yourselves better than he can." And to Fuzzy she says, "Fuzzy, I talked to your probation officer about a week ago. He said you seem to be improving. You wouldn't want me to have to tell him about an incident like this, would you?" Fuzzy, "No, ma'am." Thistlethorpe, to all of them, says, "Well, I must say that despite this incident, all 3 of you seem to have improved somewhat in the last month. I've decided not to take more severe action this time. Moody did seem to be the principal culprit. If I let you go with just a warning, can I count on you to behave properly the rest of the year?" Sylvester says, "Yes." And the other 2 nod in agreement. Thistlethorpe, "All right then. Take a moment to think about what happened today and consider how you might avoid trouble in a similar situation in the future." Fuzzy, "Yes, ma'am." Miss Thistlethorpe exits. Slick, "That witch. We've been such goody-goody boys that she's going to give us a break. If only she knew what we've been up to. Just last week, Sylvester stole Rodney's Letterman jacket. Fuzzy stole some beer from Estrada's liquor store, and I stole $60 from a purse in an unlocked car." All 3 of them laugh. "But that's small stuff. We don't even have enough money to buy tickets for the Johnny Rockaroo show. We need a big score. Those show tickets are expensive." Fuzzy, "We could sell the Letterman jacket." Slick, "You dumbbell. Who's going to buy a jacket that says Rodney on it? Besides, a used jacket ain't worth much. Nah, we got to come up with something better." Sylvester, "How about Bumblebees? That's the biggest store in town. They got plenty of expensive stuff and probably lots of cash too." Slick, "Yeah, that's a good idea." Sylvester, "How and when could we break in?" Slick, "That's easy. The store is closed on Sundays. We go in there real early on a Sunday morning from the alley behind the store. I'm good at picking locks." Sylvester, "I went down that alley once. I remember that there were many doors with many locks. I didn't know which door went with which door." Slick, "Don't worry, we'll figure it out." Fuzzy, "We aren't going to get caught, are we?" Slick, "Nah, it'll be easy. Just do what I tell you." He smiles. Right now, let's go see what happened to Moody. They exit the room. Shortly thereafter, Reggie Bullet, Bunny Cricket, Jed Bubinski, and Polly Flubberly enter the room. Jed has a bottle of soda in his hands. Polly. Yeah, the room's open. To Reggie. How'd you know? Reggie. Mr. Wu always leaves this place unlocked at lunchtime. I don't think he cares whether anyone comes in here. Jed. Hey, Reggie, you gonna make another long run in Friday's game the way you did in the last one? That was really something. Reggie, smiling. I'm going to try. Bunny, standing beside Mr. Wu's desk. Hey, look at this. She holds up a letter enclosed in an envelope resting on the top of the desk. It's in a woman's handwriting, and it has the name Connie on it. Reggie, Connie? Huh, is that a familiar way of saying Confucius? Could be interesting. Jed, yeah, that could be hot stuff. Open it up. Bunny, we can't do that. It's private. Polly, is it sealed? Bunny, no, but it wouldn't be right to open it. Bunny, Jed, oh, come on. We don't have to tell anyone else. Let's see what's inside. Reggie, yeah, open it quick before Wu comes back from lunch. Bunny, but... Polly, just do it. Bunny opens the letter. Jed, read it out loud. Bunny reading. Dear Connie, you've been a naughty boy staying away for so long. Perhaps they didn't teach you proper manners in your native country. You promised to visit me as soon as possible. If you can't come at night, as I'd prefer, come in the daytime. Almost any hour will do. Please understand that I'm desperate. I need you. Signed, CF. P.S. I'm working part-time at the BM these days. She folds the letter up, returns it to the envelope, and places it back on the desk. Jed. Zowie! That's the hottest letter I've ever heard of. She's desperate for him. Can you believe that? Old Mr. Wu, with his glasses and bow tie, is a Casanova? From now on, Wu should be spelled W-O-O. Polly, it's just to show that you can't judge people by appearances. I had no idea that Mr. Wu was leading a double life. He seemed so normal and so boring. Bunny, but he's married, isn't he? Polly, yes. Jed, what's this about learning manners in his native country? Reggie, I have no idea. He was born in China, but he's lived in this country for 30 or 40 years. Bunny, who could CF be? Polly, who knows? But in a town of this size, there can't be many CFs. Let's look in the phone book. Jed, that's not a good idea. There are many unlisted telephone numbers. I've got a better idea. Do all of you know Gussie Tinderbox? She works in the post office. Down there, they've got complete lists of names and addresses. Gussie is my cousin. I bet if I call her and tell her that I need to locate a CF for a very important reason, she'll tell me who the CFs are. Reggie, do it quick before the school bell rings. There's a payphone next to the office. Do you need change? Jed, no, I got it. He runs out, leaving the soda bottle on the desk. Polly, this could be the hottest scandal in the history of Sunnyside High School. Bunny, 2 sensational stories at the same time. Reggie, what do you mean? Bunny, you probably don't know it. Maybe Sylvester doesn't know it yet, but Kenny Calabrese in my fourth period class said that he heard on the radio this morning of the death of a relative of Sylvester's aunt Penelope Do-Gooder. The relative was a multimillionaire, and his entire fortune goes to Mrs. Do-Gooder. Polly, wow, what a lucky lady. Bunny, I don't think you get the bigger picture. Reggie, what do you mean? Bunny, Mrs. Do-Gooder is well along in years, and she's an old maid. Her only living heirs are Sylvester's family, and he's the only child. One day, that vast fortune will belong to Sylvester. Reggie, how can things be so unfair? That lowlife is going to inherit all that money? Polly, I just got an idea. Considering how careless Mr. Wu was in leaving that letter on top of his desk, do you suppose there might be others of interest inside the desk? Bunny, we really shouldn't. Polly slowly opens the desk and pulls out a bottle of perfume. Polly, look what I found, a bottle of perfume. Reggie, it's labeled Seductive Evening. What greater proof could there be? A gift for his lover. Now, we just have to find out who this CF is. Jed bursts into the room. Jed, mission accomplished. Polly to Jed, look at this. She holds up the perfume. Proof of his affair. Polly puts the perfume back in the desk and shuts the drawer. Jed, wow, this is sensational. Gussie could find the names of only 3 women with the initials CF. Cassandra Fingermeister, the city councilwoman, Cornelia Ferdinand, the president of the PTA, and Lolita Febozo, who goes by the name of Cha-Cha. Lolita works at the Black Marshmallow nightclub. Bunny, Black Marshmallow? BM. That's the place identified in the postscript of the letter. Reggie, wait a minute. Let's not jump to conclusions. Cha-Cha Febozo is a CF who works at a BM, but we've got 2 other CFs who may have connections with BM. Let's check out all these people carefully. We could get ourselves into a lot of trouble, or we could be on the verge of the biggest story in the history of Buford. It's either a city councilwoman, a PTA president, or a nightclub performer that's mixed up with Mr. Wu. Any way you look at it, this is sensational. Jed, hey Polly, you're a reporter for the school newspaper. Couldn't you pretend to cover the next town council meeting? And then while you're there, you could look for a link between Mr. Wu and Mrs. Fingermeister. Reggie, Buddy and I are supposed to receive awards at Thursday's PTA meeting, so we could check out Miss Ferdinand. That leaves you, Jed, to see about Cha-Cha Febozo. Jed, come on, you gotta be kidding. The Black Marshmallow is a strip joint. They don't let teenagers go in there. But I got an idea. My Uncle Boner Krupp is a private detective. He knows all about sordid love affairs. He'll help if I ask him to check out Lolita Febozo. Reggie, great. Let's see. The PTA meets Thursday and the City Council next Tuesday. A week from Friday, we'll meet back here at lunch to compare notes. That should be adequate time for Jed's uncle to do his work. Polly, all right. This is exciting. Jed, yeah. In excitement, he waves an arm and accidentally knocks on the floor the bottle of soda that had been on the desk. Oops, I'll go get the janitor. He exits. Bunny, don't try to clean it up. The bell's going to ring soon. We better get out of here now. When the scandal breaks, it's best not to be associated with this room. Reggie, Okay, let's go. They exit. Soon thereafter, Mr. Blunderfuss, the janitor, enters. As he begins to clean up the mess, Mr. Wu enters. Wu. Oh, Conrad, what are you up to? Blunderfuss. Some student spilled here ein soda. I cleaned it up. Wu. Funny, I didn't notice that before the lunch bell. By the way, I haven't forgotten about that letter you asked me to read. You can see that it's right here on my desk. I know Miss Ferdinand well, and when she wants someone to work for her, she doesn't take no for an answer. It's some sort of electrical problem at her home, isn't it? Blunderfuss. Ja, when she learned that I have experience with electricity, she follow me everywhere to get me to fix her problem. But I don't want to do that. Woo. I understand. I also understand why a person of your limited English skills would want an English teacher to write a suitable reply. Here's what you've been looking for. He opens a drawer on the opposite side of the desk from the drawer that contained the perfume bottle. He removes an envelope and gives it to Blunderfuss. Say, my wife's birthday is coming up soon, and I bought her a bottle of perfume. He takes the bottle of perfume from the other drawer and shows it to Blunderfuss. Do you think she'll like this? Blunderfuss. I suppose so. It's hard to know what women like. He gets his cleaning things together and starts to go out. Thank you for the letter. Well, think nothing of it, and thank you for cleaning up. Curtain. End of scene 2. Scene 3. Spotlight on Bubbles' banter, who's exactly as she was to start scene 1. That is, outside the closed curtain. Bubbles has the phone at her ear. Banter. Hello, Luna, darling. How are you doing? Oh, not so well? Goodness, why not? They're requiring you to do exercises? That's very suspicious. I've read that forced labor is common practice in communist countries. Sometimes it's followed by brainwashing sessions. Be careful and call me at once if things get out of hand. Well, dear, I'm sorry to say that almost all the news I've got to report to you today is bad, very bad. Let me start with the fragments of comfort that I was able to glean from the Buzz. Most of it appeared in the section called the report card. You know, the news about the schools. At last Thursday's PTA meeting at Sunnyside High, Cornelia Ferdinand presented awards to several people. The principal, Humphrey Pumpernickel, and his wife Periwinkle were both recognized for 20 years of service to the PTA. Incidentally, Mrs. Pumpernickel got her start in civic affairs very young as a member of the Junior Republicans League. Mr. Confucius Wu, an English teacher, was given a pin for 30 years of teaching in Buford. Following the meeting, he told onlookers that he's planning to retire at the end of the school year. 2 students received awards. Bunny Cricket got hers for being selected head cheerleader. Reggie Bullitt got his for being selected State Athlete of the Month for October. There's a serious downside to the story about Reggie Bullitt. You may have heard his name before. They say he is an outstanding athlete, perhaps the best that Sunnyside High has ever produced. Everyone in the community wants him to attend our state university. But the word is that he wants to attend UCLA, that school in Los Angeles. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but UCLA is no ordinary institution of higher learning. My cousin Barney, who lives in Arizona, has been to California once or twice. He tells me that UCLA is a training ground for communist agents. You're aware of the organization known as the ACLU, aren't you? It's a subversive body on the far left of the political spectrum. Can you note that UCLA and ACLU are composed of the same letters? It's no coincidence. Barney says that it's a kind of code among communists to identify their agencies. Our innocent local athletic hero is about to be devoured by that monster out west. Who knows, when he has finished his studies at UCLA, perhaps Reggie will be sent back to Buford by the Communist Party to recruit all of us. Yes, dear, I agree. Now let me turn to the Hanging with Hank column. That's the part of the paper that deals with entertainment, if you could call what he reports as entertainment. For example, Mr. Terpsicher, the author of the column, invites us to witness a wrestling match tomorrow night between Thunder Hammerschmidt and Macho Machado. Can you imagine civilized people watching two nearly naked giants clawing and pounding each other like wild beasts? That Hank also offers a musical show on December 11 featuring Johnny Rockaroo. Abigail says that she caught a glimpse of that person once on TV, just a glimpse, mind you, and he was thrusting his pelvis all over the place in a most unseemly manner while playing a guitar. It was a disgusting and immoral spectacle. We are supposed to rush right over to Bumblebee's the day after Thanksgiving when tickets go on sale. What you say is so true. Mr. Terpsicher further recommends the football game this Friday, November 19, between the Sunnyside High School Prairie Dogs and the Enterprise High School Demons. Buford's Reggie Bullitt is the featured star. I suppose I can't find fault with that, though football is a brutal sport. The column ends with an invitation to observe the stage show at the Black Marshmallow. Mr. Terpsicher has the audacity to declare, "Gentlemen, I guarantee you will appreciate the talents of Cha-Cha Febozo, the Panamanian Fireball." That tops everything. Rosalind tells me that Miss Febozo is a common vulgar striptease performer. How can we tolerate such vice in Buford? But the biggest story in town, of course, is the extraordinarily good fortune of Penny Do-Gooder. You undoubtedly heard the news yesterday. What you probably don't know is what has transpired since then. The headline of today's Buzz involves Penelope again, but with regard to a different matter. It reads, "Valuable ring stolen." Thieves broke into her house Sunday morning and took a wonderful ring that had both sentimental and intrinsic value. It belonged to Penny's grandmother. Considering that Penny is about to inherit millions, the monetary loss is insignificant, but to her it is irreplaceable. Police say that thieves may have difficulty disposing of it because of the unique butterfly design. Now, I have an idea about the crime. To me, it was almost certainly the work of some of those suspicious foreigners who've been drifting into the community lately. Only a handful of long-term residents, such as the Lurches, would be capable of such outrageous behavior. We need to be on guard as never before. I must go now, Luna. I'll call you again soon. Bye. Babbles hangs up. The spotlight goes off her. Immediately thereafter, a spotlight shines on Spin Porter, who stands in front of the curtain at the right side of the stage. Porter: now you see what I mean. Those old ladies know a few things about Buford, but boy, are they missing a lot. You just heard Babbles tell about the theft at Penelope Do-Gooder's, but that's barely half the story. Here's the rest. Remember now, be discreet. The curtain rises. The setting is the living room of a private residence. It's very dark. 3 thieves, Slick Fox, Fuzzy Lurch, and Sylvester Grunt, are looking for valuables. Their one flashlight is very faint. Slick to Fuzzy: we can't see a thing. I told you to bring a good light. Fuzzy: the battery's failing. I can't help it. Sylvester: where are we anyhow? Are you sure we're in Bumblebee's? Slick: be quiet. I think we're in somebody's house. They could be sleeping in the next room. I guess it really doesn't matter where we are, so long as we find something valuable. Fuzzy: how about this floor lamp? It's big. Slick: stupid. You can't exactly run off with that in your hands. Besides, it's not worth much. Sylvester: you know, this place looks kind of familiar to me. I wonder. Slick: forget it. Just keep looking. Fuzzy: hey, I think I found a ring on this table. Shine the light over here. Slick complies. It is a ring. Kind of pretty. Sylvester to Slick: what do you think? Is it worth anything? He looks it over in the light. Hard to tell for sure, but it looks valuable. I know a guy who'll buy such stuff, no questions asked. He's out of town right now, but I'll show it to him as soon as he gets back. He hands it to Sylvester. Hang on to it, Sylvester, while we look for more. They continue searching ineptly, occasionally banging into furniture. Sylvester: I don't see anything else. Fuzzy: if we look in the bedroom, we'll have a better chance of finding a purse or wallet. Slick: yeah, but how about the person sleeping in the bed? No, that's too risky. This place doesn't have much. Let's go back in the alley and try another door. The 3 thieves walk to the front of the stage, and the curtain closes behind them. Maybe we can find the right door for Bumblebee's. Slick and Fuzzy walk slowly across the front of the stage, searching for the door to Bumblebee's. Walking in the opposite direction, Sylvester goes off stage. Fuzzy: what do you think? How much can we get for that ring? Slick: I don't know. You gotta know jewelry to know what it's worth. Let me look at it again. He looks back. Hey, where's Sylvester? Fuzzy: I don't know. He was behind me. They look around. In a few moments, Sylvester reappears. Slick, where you been? Sylvester: I put the ring back where we found it. Slick: you what? Why'd you do a dumb thing like that? Sylvester: remember I said the place seemed familiar? Well, I realize it's my Aunt Penny's house. I couldn't steal from my aunt. Slick: of all the stupid... Say, isn't she the one who inherited all that money? Sylvester: yeah. Slick: the one little ring ain't no big deal to her, but it is to us. Do you want to see Johnny Rockaroo or don't you? Sylvester: yeah, of course. Slick: when your aunt gets all that money, what's a little ring gonna mean to her? It'll seem like a nickel. Sylvester: I suppose so. Slick: well, go back and get it. And be quick. It'll be dawn soon. We'll meet you at the corner. Sylvester: okay. He turns and exits the stage in the direction from which he just came. Slick and Fuzzy exit at the opposite end of the stage. End of scene 3. Scene 4. Same as the opening of the play. That is, we have a closed curtain. Babel's banter is out in front on the left side of the stage, and she has a table on which is a phone and the newspaper. Banter says, "Luna, have you heard the awful news? It's the headline of today's Buzz. Pelham Water Puff passed away." "Yes, he had a heart attack yesterday morning. It was so unexpected. Just last Friday, Mr. Waterpuff served as host of the Humane Society's annual fundraiser. He introduced the renowned composer Ignacio Zisca to all the best people in the county. At that moment, he stood at the apex of his life, enjoying the acclaim, might I even say the veneration, of Bufordites. And then 4 days later, he passed from our view. Life is so fleeting, as the poets remind us. Did you know that his great-grandfather founded this town?" "Oh, of course you did. All the worthy people around here are aware of it." "Incredibly, yesterday also marked the passing of 2 other illustrious members of our community. Imogene Bonyface, the president of the Humane Society, who shared the triumph of the fundraiser with Mr. Waterpuff, also passed on." Yes, I know she called herself Boniface, but I don't like those foreign names. They say Mrs. Bonyface died of an infection caused by a scratch from one of her cats. Isn't it ironic that one who devoted so much energy to animals should lose her life through the action of one of them? It is fitting to read that the director of the Pet Cemetery, in recognition of her lifelong service to animals, will allow Mrs. Bonyface to be buried in their facility. The funeral will be next Monday. The public is invited to bring their pets to the service. Yesterday's passings also included Phineas Slush, the banker. Unlike the others, Mr. Slush's demise had been anticipated. For some time he had suffered from cirrhosis of the liver. On the day he first arrived at Buford, I felt he would be a harbinger of good fortune. I said harbinger, not hardbinger. I guess it was fairly well known that he drank too much. Despite that shortcoming and the fact that he was a Democrat, he did much good for the town. Cassandra Fingermeister must be in despair. He was a mainstay in her campaign to unseat Mayor Hoodwink in next spring's election. Normally, I don't read the obituary column. It's morbid and perhaps bad luck. But with such prominent personages involved this time, I felt compelled to peruse it. The only other death reported is that of a man named Napoleon Burjois. I haven't the slightest idea who he was. Must be some foreigner, so it doesn't matter. Police haven't recovered Penny's ring. I see she has an ad in today's paper requesting its return. Luna, as you know, I always scan the personals column carefully to detect any activity that might have a negative impact on our community. Today, I found one tantalizing tidbit that you should know about. It reads, HP to CF. Coast clear Friday p.m. Can't wait. What do you suppose that means? And who are HP and CF? It sounds ominous, either immoral or subversive. Even though you are bedridden, do what detective work you can to uncover this conspiracy, and I'll do mine. It is simply amazing how the authorities can overlook such blatant threats to the public. Today's feature story concerns last night's town council meeting. Apparently there was considerable tension between Councilwoman Fingermeister and Mayor Hoodwink. Treasurer Thaddeus Pinchpenny painted a depressing picture of the town's finances. The only positive aspect of the meeting was the mayor's plan to seek an award for Buford. Those political gatherings can be so dry and ponderous. I must go, Luna. Get to work on that personal ad. Babbles hangs up. The spotlight goes off her. A second spotlight shines on Spin Porter in front of the curtain at the right side of the stage. Porter. Dry, ponderous. See what you think. His spotlight goes off. The curtain rises. A town council meeting is in progress. Only 3 councilmen are in attendance. Mayor Hieronymus Hoodwink, Councilwoman Raina Hincapie, and Councilwoman Cassandra Fingermeister. Also present are Town Treasurer Thaddeus Pinchpenny and Town Clerk Gertrude Smirch. All have nameplates in front of their seats. In the audience are a half-dozen observers: Polly Flubberly, Spin Porter, Blanche Bubinski, Beulah Thud, Lulu Frippery, and Lexington Logjammer. Hoodwink. The next item of business is one that I believe all of you will warmly embrace. I propose that the town of Buford formally apply to the National Commission of Municipalities for recognition as an all-American town. Under my wise leadership, this community has made great strides in the last few years. We are certainly the envy of the county for our vast improvements in infrastructure, our remarkable water development project, and the fusion of our diverse citizenry into a harmonious melting pot. Thud loudly. Cut the bull! Hoodwink pounds his gavel. There will be no outbursts from the audience. If you have anything to say, wait until the proper time. Now, as I was saying, it's fitting that Buford receive recognition for its accomplishments under my prudent management. Fingermeister, what are you talking about? Under your management, this town has gone to the dogs. The roads and even this town hall building are falling apart. There are almost daily breaks in the water and sewer lines. Every department of town government quarrels with every other. This will all change when I'm elected mayor in the spring. Hoodwink. Let's stick to the subject. Do we or do we not agree that Buford merits recognition as an all-American town? And if we do agree, do we apply for that award? Let me put it this way. Mrs. Fingermeister, do you wish to go on record as voting against recognition of Buford as an all-American town? Fingermeister grumbling. I suppose not. Hoodwink. Then I guess we're ready for a vote. We do have a quorum. To Town Clerk Smirk. Where are the missing councilmen? Smirk. Councilman Andrews called a few minutes ago. When he awoke this morning, his house was filling with water from broken pipes in the street. He wasn't able to call for some time because the phone lines were dead. And when he drove his car to this meeting, he had an accident in a giant pothole on 9th Street. Hoodwink. Well, where is Councilman Chugalug? Smirk. He went to the he had to attend to an emergency at Coliseum Arena. Hoodwink. I see. Aside. Oh, I wish they were here. I could always count on their votes. And to all of the council. Am I correct that we're all in agreement on the application for town honors? While Fingermeister and Hincapie reluctantly nod in agreement, they frown and point their thumbs downward. Good. And to Smirk, he says, record that as an enthusiastic, unanimous vote. Be sure to include in the request a statement that the town's wonderful improvements have been effected under my sagacious leadership. Now, let's turn to the matter of the black marshmallow. Attorney Lexington Logjammer is present tonight to defend the interests of that establishment. I should remind everyone that this agenda item originated with a motion by Councilwoman Fingermeister to withdraw Marshmallow's business license on the ground of indecency. Action had been postponed until today at the request of Mr. Logjammer. Mrs. Fingermeister, would you please summarize the case you presented at length on the 1st of this month? Fingermeister. This council has received numerous complaints from citizens, especially a group called the Heirloom Sewing Circle, that the black marshmallow presents lewd and immoral striptease shows. Furthermore, evidence from other sources indicate that there is illicit gambling in back rooms and perhaps illegal sexual activity as well. Hoodwink. Mr. Logjammer, you may give us your views on the subject. Logjammer. Thank you. My client admits that the image of her business as presented by Councilwoman Fingermeister is the one that prevails in Buford. However, she contends that it is a false and highly exaggerated picture. Black marshmallow performers do wiggle their bodies a little bit, but their actions are more like those of cheerleaders. Convinced that any objective observer would concur, Mrs. Farouk invites Mayor Hoodwink to her establishment Thursday afternoon, where Cha-Cha Febozo, one of her best dancers, will give a private performance so that the mayor can see for himself the innocence of her routine. Thud. Objective observer, ha! Hoodwink. I must remind you again, Miss Thud, that such expression of personal opinion will not be tolerated here. To Logjammer. Now, Mr. Logjammer, that suggestion seems quite reasonable to me. Hincapié. What do you mean? The idea is absurd. If there's to be an on-site investigation, the entire council should go some night unannounced and view an entire show. Hoodwink. Well, it's difficult to rule on these issues that have such subtle differences of opinion. But that's part of the burden of leadership. I therefore rule that action on the matter be deferred until I can conduct a personal inquiry. Mr. Logjammer, tell Miss Farouk that for the good of the community, I shall be at the Black Marshmallow on Thursday. Logjammer. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Pinchpenny to Hoodwink. I suggest you have the attorney wait a moment. There's an item in my report that concerns his client. Hoodwink. Oh yes, the treasurer's report. I almost forgot about it. Proceed, Mr. Pinchpenny. Pinchpenny. If the council remembers, the Black Marshmallow requested 2 months ago that Libido Boulevard, the principal approach to their establishment, be widened and resurfaced to accommodate their growing clientele. After studying the matter as you requested, Mr. Mayor, I recommend that we deny the request. The city's financial position is too shaky at present to justify such a request. I recommend that you table the matter for now. Logjammer. But it's imperative that the roadway be improved at once. Without action soon, there will be accidents. Mark my word. And then my client may be forced to sue the town. Let me remind the council that the Black Marshmallow is a major source of revenue for the town. It attracts many customers from Riverdale and other communities too. Pinchpenny. You can't squeeze blood from a turnip. Buford just doesn't have the money. Mr. Mayor, let me give an up-to-date accounting of the city's finances. Hoodwink. Proceed, Mr. Pinchpenny. Pinchpenny. As things stand, Buford will have a deficit of about $150,000 at year's end. In view of this, I've been thinking about ways for the town to economize. I've made several suggestions already to those who spend municipal funds. For example, when burying people in Potter's Field, we should use only second-hand coffins. Dig up the old ones from a century ago. Unfortunately, there seems to be little enthusiasm for my ideas. Hoodwink. I had no idea that Buford was in such dire financial shape. Pinchpenny. There's more. I don't know how I overlooked it before, but it appears that someone with authority in the town government has diverted at least $20,000 into a private account in the Caribbean bank. I don't know the person responsible. I've done my best to track him down. I recommend that the council hire an independent auditor from the big city to investigate this matter. Fingermeister. Good work, Pinchpenny. I move that we enact his recommendation. Hincapié. I second the motion. Hoodwink. Now let's not be hasty. There's probably a minor miscalculation somewhere. Some simple explanation for this discrepancy. Besides, we don't want big city folks poking their noses into our affairs, and a big city auditor won't come cheap. If our finances are in bad shape, can we afford such an expense? Hincapié. I call for a vote. Hoodwink. No discussion? Wouldn't it be better to put this off for a while to give the matter some thought? We're missing the brain power of our two absent councilmen. Fingermeister. Brain power? You mean those two lackeys of yours? Let's have the vote now. Hoodwink. If you insist. But before you vote, think of all the negative publicity this could generate for our community. Fingermeister and Hincapié glare at him. All right then. How many approve the motion to hire a big city auditor to investigate the alleged missing funds? Fingermeister and Hincapié. Aye. Hoodwink, dejected. Apparently the measure is carried. Pinchpenny. That concludes my report. With your permission, Mr. Mayor, I shall take immediate steps to locate a qualified auditor. Hoodwink sighs. Go ahead. To Mrs. Smirk. Is there anything else on the agenda? Smirk. No, sir. Hoodwink. Then it's time for the citizens to speak. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to ask a question or make a comment? Beulah Thud raises her hand. Yes, ma'am. Please stand up, state your name, and tell us what you wish. Thud stands up. My name is Beulah Thud. I'm a waitress at Pandora's Box Cafe. I have a big complaint to make against bumblebees. They shut their store down every day from noon to 1 so they can pay their employees for one less hour of work. But that causes the sales clerk to descend on Pandora's at the same time. I've got to run around, take orders, and deliver food in one hectic hour every day. Customers are always yelling and complaining. It's an impossible situation. Couldn't there be a city ordinance requiring employers to spread out their lunchtime hours so that nightmares like that aren't created? Give us a break. Frippery. We're hungry when we get there. You know we're going to order lots of hamburgers and french fries. Couldn't you start cooking them before we get there? You know we're coming. Hoodwink. Miss, would you please identify yourself? Frippery. I'm Lulu Frippery, and I'm a sales clerk at Bumblebees. As I said, we're hungry when we get to Pandora's, and then this sloppy woman gives us a hard time. She doesn't have any respect for the customers. Thud, angry. Why, you... Hoodwink. Now, ladies. Calm down. We're not here to call names. To Thud. I regret, Mrs. Thud, that the council is unable to act on your request. Luther Schmaltz, the owner of Bumblebees, is perfectly right within his rights to have store hours as he wishes. Thud. But it's a monopoly. It's the only department store in town. We're forced to shop there. Hoodwink. I'm sorry, Mrs. Thud. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Polly Flubberly raises her hand. Yes, miss? Flubberly. I'm Polly Flubberly, a reporter from Sunnyside High School's newspaper. I'd like to ask Mrs. Fingermeister a question. Fingermeister. What is it? Flubberly. Mr. Confucius Wu, an English teacher at Sunnyside, is about to retire after 30 years of service. Will the council honor him for his long service to Buford? Fingermeister. Wu? She looks at the other council members. Does anybody know him? Hincapié. Yeah, he's an old Chinese man who wears glasses and a bow tie. He's kind of cute. Fingermaster. Well, Polly, that might be a good idea. Personally, I don't know the man. It might be best to put off the topic for a later meeting so that we can find out something about him. Hoodwink. Okay, I guess that concludes our business. Meeting adjourned. Curtain. End of scene 4. Scene 5. Spotlight on Spin Porter in front of the curtain on the right side of the stage. Porter. Remember I told you the heirloom ladies get only pieces of this and that? Well, it appears they learned nothing about yesterday's events. Today's buzz, Saturday, November 24, gives only a sketchy picture. The headline reads, Club Dancer Disappears. Instead of bothering with the story my editor let me print, take a look at this. The curtain rises. The setting is Mr. Wu's classroom. Slick Fox, Fuzzy Lurch, and Sylvester Grunt enter the room. Sylvester. This looks like a good place. Nobody's around. Fuzzy. Isn't this the room where that creep Thistlethorpe talked to us? Slick. Yeah. Sylvester to Slick. So what's up? Why'd you call us together? Slick. I haven't any luck fencing the ring. The guy I know is still out of town. In the meantime, we have a serious problem. The ring is very hot. In the newspaper, Sylvester's aunt keeps describing it and asking for its return. We have to be careful. He takes the ring from a pocket and looks at it. Where can we put it for now? Fuzzy, pointing to Wu's desk. How about one of these drawers? Sylvester, don't be stupid. The teacher might find it. Slick, you know, that might not be such a bad idea. In the first place, that Wu is practically blind. He needs glasses for his glasses. He seems unaware of everything around him. And if someone else finds it here, Wu gets blamed for the theft, not us. What do you think? Fuzzy. Besides, we can get in this room anytime we want. Slick. He opens a drawer and puts the ring in it. I'm pushing it to the back so it won't be easily seen. He shuts the drawer. Let's get out of here. They exit. Immediately thereafter, Bunny Cricket, Polly Flubberly, Reggie Bullitt, and Jed Bubinski enter. Reggie. Okay, Polly, let's hear the report about the town council meeting. What do you think? Can CF be Cassandra Fingermeister? Polly. I don't think so. I asked her a question directly about Mr. Wu. She said she didn't know him, and I don't think she was faking the response. She seemed too sincere. Reggie. Bunny and I were at the PTA meeting. Based on what we saw there, We seriously doubt that CF is Cornelia Ferdinand. Bunny. That leaves us with Cha-Cha Febozo. They all look at Jed. Jed. Uncle Morgan went twice to the Black Marshmallow, but he never got a chance to talk to Cha-Cha directly. However, he picked up clues that she might be one to carry on a secret affair. Reggie. Can we all agree that Cha-Cha is almost certainly the one? Bunny. No, I'm not sure. We need more evidence. Polly. Do you think there might be more clues in the desk? We really haven't examined it thoroughly. Jed. Let's take a look. They began to search the desk. Suddenly, Jed pulls out the ring. Oh my gosh! Look! All look at the ring. Do you know what this is? Polly. Yeah, a ring. Jed. No, this isn't just a ring. This is the valuable ring that was stolen from Penelope Do-Gooder. You can tell from the butterfly design. The police and everyone else in town are looking for it. You know what this means? Mr. Wu is not only a Casanova, but a thief. Bunny. Do you suppose he intends to use it as an engagement ring? Reggie. That's it. He intends to marry Cha-Cha Febozo. Polly. You think so? Would a sexy young woman want to marry old Mr. Wu? Reggie. He's about to retire with a big fat pension. Can't you picture someone like this Cha-Cha flirting with Mr. Wu and telling him to dump his wife for her? Jed. I'll bet you're right. There's something else about Uncle Morgan's investigation that I failed to mention. Polly. What's that? Jed. Although he never did talk to Cha-Cha directly, Uncle Morgan did follow her around a little. Once she went to an insurance company. Uncle Morgan overheard her inquire about purchasing a life insurance policy. Reggie. Oh no, it's worse than I thought. Either Cha-Cha is planning to kill him and collect insurance, or Cha-Cha and Mr. Wu together plan to kill Mrs. Wu for the insurance money. Polly. You're right. That's the only way to make sense of this. Jed. But what are we going to do about it? If we explain this to our folks or the police, will they believe us? Bunny. Unlikely. But we can't let Mr. and Mrs. Wu die. Reggie. There's only one thing we can do. Polly. What on earth is that? Reggie. We're going to kidnap Cha-Cha and put her on a plane back to Panama. Polly, Bunny, and Jed. What? Reggie. Look, I know it sounds drastic, but what else is there to do? I don't want either Mr. Wu or his wife to die on account of this woman, do you? Polly. No, but... Reggie. We just need to come up with a careful plan so we don't get caught. In the meantime, leave the ring in the drawer. Jed puts it in the drawer, and all of them exit the room. Soon thereafter, Fuzzy Lurch, Sylvester Grunt, and Slick Fox enter. Slick to Sylvester. You're right. It's too much of a risk to leave the ring here. Take it out of the drawer. We better find a better place for it. Sylvester complies, and all exit the room. Curtain. End of Scene 5. Scene 6. A spotlight shines on Bubbles' banter in front of the closed curtain at the left side of the stage. She is seated in a chair holding a cloth to her forehead with one hand and a telephone to her ear with the other hand. Banter. Luna, darling, I hope you're getting better. You are? Good, that's wonderful. Personally, I'm not feeling so well. Events are transpiring here in Buford at such a furious pace that I can't keep up with them. My head is swimming. Either the communists have arrived and we are under siege, or the Almighty is putting me to a severe test. Today is Wednesday the 24th, isn't it? Good. I'm thankful for any small sign of my sanity. As you surely know, yesterday was the funeral of Pelham Waterpuff. I just had to attend. Such an illustrious man, you know. A historic event. I was seated in the back of the parlor. The setting was very solemn and proper. Giant bouquets of flowers lined the aisles and the walls. Organ music filled the air. Buford's finest people occupied the seats. Mr. Hubert Squish, the mortician, and Reverend Montague were all ready to begin the service when suddenly we could hear a tapping sound coming from inside the coffin, as though Mr. Waterpuff was trying to communicate with the other world. Can you imagine the feeling of suspense that crept over us? As Mr. Squish opened the coffin, someone screamed and a man said, "Mr. Waterpuff has turned into a woman." That was too much for me. I fainted. The next thing I remember, I was back at home and Rosalind was soothing my forehead. "I'll call you again just as soon as I find out what happened. Bye." She hangs up. The spotlight goes off. Instantly, a second spotlight shines on Spin Porter, who is standing in front of the curtain on the right side of the stage. Porter: "I was there too. Boy, did she miss a lot." Today's buzz, dated Wednesday, November 24, blares out, "Club dancer reappears." To make any sense out of this story, you have to go back to the day before the funeral. The curtain rises. The setting is Squish's funeral parlor. A coffin rests prominently on the floor at the left side of the stage. Many empty chairs are arranged on the right side of the stage. Flowers cover the walls. Sylvester Grunt, Fuzzy Lurch, and Slick Fox enter. Sylvester: "That was a really smart idea, Slick. I never would have thought of hiding the ring on a corpse." Slick: "It's better than you think. I read about this Pelham Waterpuff. He's a real big shot. Nobody would ever wonder about a valuable ring on his finger. And when they bury him, it'll be in a prominent place. We'll be able to dig up the body and take back the ring whenever we want. It's perfect." Fuzzy, kind of nervous: "Is the body in that casket?" He points to the coffin. Slick to Fuzzy: "Yeah, open it up and put the ring on the man's finger." Fuzzy: "No, not me. You do it." Slick: "You chicken." He lifts the lid of the casket, and to Sylvester he says, "Sylvester, you put it on his finger." Sylvester gulps. He takes the ring from Fuzzy and tries to put it on the dead man's finger. "Hey, it's hard to do." Slick: "Make sure it's on right. We don't want it to slip off." Sylvester grunts. "There, I think I got it." Slick: "Okay, let's get out of here." Fuzzy: "You know, it would be kind of fun to attend this guy's funeral and cremation." Slick: "Cremation? What are you talking about?" Fuzzy: "The other day I heard some guy saying that after the funeral, Waterman was going to be cremated." Sylvester: "You mean they're going to burn the body?" Fuzzy: "Oh, I guess so." Slick: "Why didn't you tell us that before?" Fuzzy: "I didn't think it was important." Sylvester: "You guys remember that the ring belonged to my aunt. Do you suppose that anyone seeing that ring on Waterpuff's hand would know it wasn't his?" Slick: "You're right. It's a woman's ring. We got to get it back." At the coffin, Slick opens the lid. Sylvester tries to remove the ring. "I can't get it off," Sylvester says. "It's on tight." Slick: "Keep trying." Sylvester, I am, but it won't come off. Slick, let me try. He tries unsuccessfully. Fuzzy, I guess we just lost the ring. Sylvester, I'm not going to lose it. It's my aunt's ring. Slick, shut up and let me think. After a pause, he says, okay, I guess there's just one thing to do. Fuzzy, what's that? Slick, we'll carry the body somewhere, get some soap and water, and pull it off his hand. Sylvester, but we'll get caught. Slick, nah, it's early morning. We'll walk him down the street between us while we sing songs. People will think we're all drunks coming back from an all-night party. Sylvester, now that's real smart, Slick. They exit, walking the body as they sing. Soon thereafter enter Reggie Bullitt, Jed Bubinski, Polly Flubberly, and Bunny Cricket, carrying an unconscious Cha-Cha Fabuloso. Jed, how long's she gonna be out? Reggie, supposed to be a long time, but who can say for sure? I didn't want to overdo it and accidentally kill her. Polly, you say all we have to do is find an empty coffin, stick her inside, and then ship her off on the next plane to Panama. Reggie, sure. We'll make up some phony address in Panama City and let the officials down there decide what to do with her. Even if she wakes up on the plane, she'll go all the way to Panama. Once she's airborne, we've done all we've set out to do, and it will be next to impossible for her to implicate us. Jed, sounds good to me. Reggie to Jed, open that coffin and see if it's empty. Jed complies. Jed, it is. Reggie, okay, let's put her in. All help to put Cha-Cha in the coffin. Now, we'll just leave her here while we go make arrangements for the flight. Get ready to play grieving relatives while I give instructions to the airline agents. I'll have the airline send people to this mortuary to pick up the body. Curtain. End of scene 6. Scene 7. The spotlight is on Bubbles' banter in the same position as in scene 6, except that she's not holding a cloth to her head. Banter. Hello, Luna. Happy Thanksgiving. Is everything all right? Good. It shouldn't be long before they release you. Have they given you a date? About another week? Well, that's not terribly long. All of us ladies in the sewing circle will be thrilled to see you back. Dear, the first thing that I must do this morning is to set the record straight. When I last spoke to you, I left you with the impression that the body of Pelham Waterpuff had somehow turned into a woman. I was mistaken. Apparently there was some sort of trickery. As incredible as it seems, Thames abducted Mr. Waterpuff's body and substituted for it the striptease performer that I told you about before. Her name is Cha-Cha Fabuloso, one of those foreigners you know. After such outrageous behavior, the events of yesterday, as reported by the Buzz, seemed very tame. The best the paper could do was to describe some fits of emotion at the Pandora Box Cafe. Can't wait until you get out, Luna. I have some wonderful ideas for improving the community. Bye for now. She hangs up. The spotlight goes off. A second spotlight shines on Spin Porter in front of the curtain at the right side of the stage. Porter. That's about as close as she's come to getting it right. Yesterday in Buford was sort of like a day off. But why do I have the feeling that the incidents at Pandora's Box will have repercussions later on? See what you think. The curtain rises. It's early morning at Pandora's Box Cafe. 5 dining tables are scattered about the stage. Waitress Beulah Thud is going from table to table, taking orders and serving food. At table 1 is Hieronymus Hoodwink, Thaddeus Pinchpenny, and Lexington Logjammer. At table 2 are Raina Hincapie, Lulu Frippery, and Cassandra Fingermeister. At table 3 are Corky Weinberger and Butch Turnbull. At table 4, Babbles Banter is seated alone. At table 5 are Fuzzy Lurch, Slick Fox, and Sylvester Grunt. A spotlight shines on table 1. The lights are dim elsewhere. Logjammer. Thank you for having breakfast with me this morning, Mr. Mayor. Mrs. Farouk has requested that I do everything in my power to get a satisfactory conclusion to our problem. Hoodwink. Quite so. Ever since my meeting with Miss Febozo, I've come to see the matter in a different light. Mrs. Farouk has a strong case, and I think the town should give it fair consideration. Pinchpenny. Buford can't afford it. It's as simple as that. We just don't have the money. Logjammer. Are you certain that some creative accounting couldn't come up with sufficient funds to do the job? By the way, Mayor Hoodwink, Mrs. Farouk would like to make a modest contribution to your re-election campaign. And Miss Febozo has asked me to invite you back for a second private performance if you need further convincing about the innocence of our shows. Hoodwink. Thank Mrs. Farouk for her generosity, and tell Miss Farouk that in order to ensure that the town is taking the proper course of action, I will have a second look. But I must say that I'm pretty well convinced already. Logjammer. The Black Marshmallow appreciates your generous and perspicacious attitude. Mr. Pinchpenny, isn't there something that might be done to convince you of the justice of our claim? Perhaps you might like a private. Pinchpenny. Justice? I've heard enough. This is beginning to anger me. Let me speak plainly, Mr. Logjammer. Up to now, I've spoken strictly as a town treasurer. I've told you in simple words that Buford cannot do what you want. Now I'm going to add some personal observations. The Black Marshmallow is a den of iniquity, a blight on this community. Furthermore, you and Hoodwink are both crooks who deserve to go to jail. From now on, whenever I speak about the Black Marshmallow, I'm going to tell everyone exactly what I think. Logjammer. Mr. Pinchpenny, I'm sorry to hear that. I fear you will regret this. Mrs. Farouk is not a forgiving person. I believe you can anticipate a sharp reaction from her. Pinchpenny. Get out of here before I punch you in the nose. Logjammer stands up, and to Hoodwink he says, Mr. Mayor, it's been a pleasure. I'll be in touch with you later. He exits. The spotlight shifts to the second table. Lulu Frippery to all the others at her table. Thank you for letting me sit here. This place is always so crowded. She signals to the waitress, who sees her signal but ignores it. Fingermeister. We're pleased to have you here. To Hincapie. Why do you suppose Hieronymus and Thaddeus are having breakfast with Logjammer? Hincapie. It's easy to know why Logjammer's with Hieronymus. Birds of a feather. But I can't say about Thaddeus. I always thought he was an honest man. Fingermeister. I'm worried about this coziness between the mayor and the Black Marshmallow. Mrs. Farouk has a lot of money. She might contribute heavily to the re-elect Hoodwink campaign. I just lost my biggest backer when Pelham Waterproof died. But let's not talk politics now. To Frippery, she says, tell me about the post-Thanksgiving Day sale at Bumblebee's. Frippery, it's going to be wonderful, better than ever. However, to tell you the truth, we're a little bit short on a few things that are very popular. For instance, that little Susie doll that every girl in town wants. I think we've only got 3 or 4. And the toaster that Mr. Schmaltz displayed prominently in the ad at $4.95. There are very few of them. We're supposed to switch customers over to the $10.95 toaster. She tries unsuccessfully to get the attention of the waitress. Why does that Beulah Thud ignore us? Thud stands behind her. She's such a lousy waitress. I don't think I've seen worse. Angered, Thud reaches over to an adjacent table, retrieves a pot of jam, and deliberately drops some jam on Frippery. Thud to Frippery. Oh, pardon me, dearie, that was careless of me. Frippery angrily. Oh, it's you. I might have expected it. To Fingermeister and Hincapie, Frippery says, I've got to change my clothes fast. Please excuse me. She exits hurriedly. The spotlight shifts to table 3. Corky Weinberger, who's drunk, says, oh, my head. Turnbull, should lay off that bottle a little. Weinberger, can't. It's my friend. Turnbull, drink a little coffee. Weinberger, don't wanna. It might make me sober. Turnbull, then maybe you'd stop acting like an idiot. Weinberger, I'm not an idiot. Don't call me names. A second spotlight shines on Spin Porter entering the cafe. He sits down beside Bubbles Banter. And the first spotlight turns off. Speaking about idiots, there's that stupid Spin Porter. He's always writing about me being drunk. That's why people's always making fun of me. Is on account of him. I hate him. Turnbull, why don't you punch him out? That's what I always do when people get in my way. See that Moody Knuckles over there? Second spotlight shines briefly on Moody Knuckles. I've fixed him good more than once. Maybe I'll do it again today just for fun. Spotlight shifts to table 4. Banter. Mr. Porter, I'm here officially representing the Heirloom Sewing Circle. We strongly resent the attack you mount against us in your news column. You consistently paint us in an unfavorable light, and we don't deserve such ill treatment. The members of our group are all upstanding citizens who work to improve the community. Surely you must see that. Porter, well, I admit that in rare instances you do manage to do something worthwhile for Buford, but most of the time you poke your noses into other people's business when you have no right to do so. Banter, offended. Indeed, we have every right to defend this town and its citizens against the forces of evil, like those communists. Porter, that's just what I mean. You see communists behind every tree. The truth is that in Buford, you'd be hard-pressed to find a single real communist. Banter, oh, the blindness. Either you're in league with them, or you are an ignorant man. Porter, angry. Ignorant? Look who's talking about ignorance. You and your friends are always claiming to know everything. I'm always 2 steps ahead of you. I'll bet you don't even know yet about the letter your friend Penelope Do-Gooder got from the New York lawyers. Banter, what letter? Porter, see what I mean? She just got a letter saying that if she wished to inherit that fortune, she has to show that butterfly ring to prove that she's the rightful heir. Banter, what? But she doesn't have that ring. Porter, I know, but according to the will, the entire fortune goes to the elderly lady in Buford who could produce the ring with a butterfly design. The spotlight shifts to table 5. Slick, did you hear that? Fuzzy, what do you mean? Slick, that reporter at the next table. He says that Sylvester's aunt won't inherit all that money unless she can show the ring we've got. Sylvester, he did? We got to give it back to my aunt. Slick, not so fast. Any old lady with that ring will do. We could find somebody else to play the part. Sylvester, it might not be that easy. Besides, why cheat my aunt? It's not so bad. Anyway, if my aunt gets the money, it'll all come to me one day. Slick, yeah, so what? What does that do for me or Fuzzy? Sylvester, hey, I'll take care of you. That fortune's supposed to total more than 100 million. I'll make you a deal. Help me get the ring back to my aunt so she can inherit the money, and when she passes along to me, I promise to give each of you at least 1 million apiece. Is that okay? Slick, you got a deal. Fuzzy, but right now we've got 2 problems. Getting the ring off Waterpuff's hand and then disposing of the body. Sylvester, yeah, I'm kind of nervous about leaving the body in that trash dumpster. Slick, well, we had to do something while we ate breakfast. Couldn't set it here at the table with us. Fortunately, it's been snowing and the weather's pretty cold. The body will probably be okay a while longer. You know, I've been thinking about that body. I'd like to play a joke on the town. The day after tomorrow is the big post-Thanksgiving Day sale at Bumblebee's. That's the exact same time when tickets go on sale for the Johnny Rockaroo show. So here's what we're going to do now. First, we bury the body in snow to keep it fresh. Then on Friday, we take it early in the morning while it's still dark to the alley behind Bumblebee's. While Sylvester is sneaking the ring back into his aunt's house, Fuzzy and I will carry the corpse into Bumblebee's. You know what we're going to do with it? Fuzzy, what? Slick, we're going to put it on display on the big store window. Can't you imagine the fancy Pelham Waterpuff sitting in a chair for all of Buford to admire? And the stories that will be created to explain how he got there. That will top anything that's ever been done in this town. Sylvester admiringly, what a genius. Slick, then cool as cucumbers, we'll get in the line that will be forming to buy tickets for the show. Everyone in Buford knows that Sylvester is going to be rich. Somebody will surely lend him money for the tickets. I can't wait until Friday. Curtain. End of scene 7. Scene 8. Friday before dawn. Where the curtain closed, the forestage represents the alley behind Bumblebee's. Fuzzy Lurch and Sylvester Grunt are carrying the body of Pelham Waterpuff. Slick Fox walks in front of them. Slick to the other 2. Put him down a minute. And they comply. Okay now, just like I said. Sylvester, you take the ring and put it in a place where your aunt can find it. Meanwhile, Fuzzy and I will put Pelham Waterpuff on his throne. And they all laugh. Be quick. People will begin lining up here soon for show tickets and for Bumblebee's sale. Sylvester exits to the left, the others to the right. A minute later, they meet again in front of the curtain. Slick, I can't wait until somebody discovers old Waterpuff. That's going to be a scream. Get it? They laugh. We might as well start the line for the show tickets right here. Slick stands in the center of the four-stage facing left. Fuzzy and Sylvester stand in line behind him. Soon Beulah Thud stands facing Slick to initiate a line in the opposite direction. Then Cassandra Finkermeister stands behind her. Thud to the three boys. Why are you boys here? Slick. This is the line to get tickets for the Johnny Rockaroo show. Thud. Oh yes, I heard an ad for that. Slick. You mean you're not buying tickets for the show? Thud. No, this is the line for the post-Thanksgiving Day sale at Bumblebee's. It's the start of the Christmas season, the biggest shopping day of the year. That's why I'm here early. And I'm wearing my brass knuckles in case some tootsie tries to get cute and crowd me out. She holds up her fist to demonstrate. Slick, wow, looks serious. Moody Knuckles lines up behind Fuzzy, and Lexington Logjammer lines up behind Fingermeister. Fuzzy to Moody with a hard look. What are you doing here? Moody, to buy tickets for the Rockaroo show. Sylvester, why couldn't you buy them some other day? Moody, I'm here for the same reason you're here, to get good seats. Thaddeus Pinchpenny stands behind Logjammer and Butch Turnbull behind Moody. Pinchpenny to Logjammer, I didn't know you'd be here. If I didn't have to buy a gift for my wife, I'd leave. Logjammer, why don't you just leave your wife? That might be a better gift for her. They glare at one another. Turnbull to Moody, what are you doing here? Looking for an excuse to get in front of my fist? Moody, maybe. They glare at each other. Hieronymus Hoodwink stands behind Thaddeus Pinchpenny and Blanche Bubinski behind Hoodwink. Hoodwink, oh, hello, Pinchpenny, and you too, Logjammer. I didn't expect to see the two of you here together. Pinchpenny, we're not here together, I assure you. It's the curse of Christmas shopping that brings us to this place. Why do they always have these big sales on a single day? Rena Hincapie gets in line behind Bubinski. Hincapie, hello, Hieronymus, and hello up there, Cassandra. Fingermeister waves back, and to Hoodwink she says, what brings you here, Mr. Mayor? Hoodwink, a little Christmas shopping. I want one of those little Susie dolls for my granddaughter. Hincapie, why, that's just what I came for. Hoodwink to Pinchpenny, is that why you're here? Pinchpenny, no, I'm here for something more practical, a toaster for my wife. They've got a good price on one. Logjammer, what? That's what I came for. They glare at one another. Babbles Banter lines up behind Hincapie. Banter to Hincapie. Hello, are you here for the sale? Hincapie, yes I am. Banter, I hope I can get one of those little Susie dolls for my niece. Hincapie glares at her. Spin Porter gets in line behind Banter. To Porter says, oh, you're here. Have you come for the sale too? Porter, not as a customer. I'm supposed to cover the event for the paper. But if I get a chance, I'm going to buy one of those little Susie dolls. Hincapie and Banter both glare at him. Corky Weinberger gets in the line behind Butch Turnbull. Corky, is this the line for the Rockaroo show tickets? Corky stumbles against Butch. Butch, yeah, but don't push, man, or I'll knock your block off. Officer Buster Muldoody appears. Muldooney to Butch. "Take it easy there. He didn't mean any harm. I know Corky well." Corky to Muldooney. "You here to buy tickets for Rockaroo?" Muldooney laughs. "No, I'm here just to keep law and order at this store. Things sometimes get out of hand at these sales." He goes to the spot where the two lines meet and stands between Slick and Thud. Fingermeister to Muldooney. "I'm glad you're here, Officer Muldooney." Muldooney. "To tell you the truth, I'm a little nervous. We're short of people to cover this event. Earlier this morning, a squad made up of officers from Buford and Riverdale raided the Black Mushroom nightclub. Almost everything criminal you can imagine was going on there. They arrested Fatima Farouk, the owner, of course, but they also got a big surprise. In a back room, they found Sunnyside High's principal, Humphrey Pumpernickel, in a compromising situation with Cha-Cha Febozo, the stripper who was in the paper recently. That news will really shake up the town." Fingermeister. "How long will it be until the store opens?" Muldooney. "Oh, any moment now." From backstage, a recorded voice makes an announcement. Message says, "This is Mr. Schmaltz, the owner of Bumblebees. I want to welcome you to our 12th annual post-Thanksgiving Day sale. We think you'll find shopping in our store better than ever before. We are truly proud of what is about to happen here. One word before we open the doors. Please be courteous to other customers. Get in the Christmas spirit. Merry Christmas to all of you." A recording of Silent Night begins to play as the curtain rises, signifying the opening of the store. Inside are Lulu Frippery and Emily Thistledorp in police uniform, as well as Pelham Waterpuff in his store window chair. Customers all rush toward the center of the stage, jostling and pushing one another. Fights break out. Those with grudges try to settle scores. Thud versus Frippery. Porter versus Banter and Bubitsky. Logjammer versus Pinchpenny. Fingermeister and Hinkapier versus Hoodwink. Turnbull versus Knuckles. There are also skirmishes between competitors for the toaster and Little Susie dolls. Of course, Muldooney and Thistlethorpe cannot control the melee. During the action, some boys pick up Waterpuff and pass him from person to person across the room. After a few minutes of frenzied activity, Muldooney fires his revolver in the air. Muldooney. "That's enough!" The fighting stops. Customers listen to the officer. "Everybody line up against the wall." They all comply. "You're all under arrest. Stay right where you are until I can call for assistance." Hoodwink. "Now, officer, aren't you being a bit hasty? Perhaps one or two people here were a trifle out of line, but to jail all of us for the excesses of a few would be unjust. Here in Buford, we take pride in our displays of mercy. If you proceed with what you suggest, think of the problems that will ensue. Reputations ruined, the town in chaos, no government to vote paychecks for policemen." Muldooney stands with his arms folded, seemingly unfazed by the mayor's remarks until the comment about paychecks to policemen. Then he snaps to attention with a worried look on his face. "Let me suggest an alternative. We have here in our midst a quorum of the Buford Town Council. I believe we can find a swift and peaceful solution to this situation." He beckons Fingermeister and Hincapie and whispers in their ears. I declare open a special session of the Buford City Council. With a quorum in attendance, I hereby move that the council raise the pay of all police officers and by 10% and declare a general amnesty for those persons who have committed general criminal offenses within town limits during the month of November 1959. Hincapie. I second the motion. Hoodwink. All in favor say aye. Hoodwink, Hincapie, and Fingermeister. Aye. Hoodwink to Muldooney. Now you've seen how true justice works in Buford. The curtain falls, and there is a pause. Then the spotlight shines on Bubbles' banter in her chair in front of the curtain at the left side of the stage. She has a black eye, and she's holding the phone. Banter. Hello, Luna. I'm surprised to find you still a good Samaritan. I thought you were supposed to be discharged yesterday. You don't say. As Dr. Throb and Nurse Jinx were lifting you from the bed to the wheelchair, they dropped you on the floor? And now you have a compound fracture of the left leg? Oh, Luna darling, to me that has to be more than a coincidence or a stroke of bad luck. Perhaps the medical staff of the hospital is a communist cell, and they recognize you as a dedicated patriot. Keep your guard up, Luna. Now, let me give you the news. The Buzz reports that aside from cold weather, not much has been happening in Buford since Thanksgiving. We've been enjoying unusually tranquil days. There were 2 minor mishaps. A couple of over-enthusiastic shoppers accidentally did some damage in bumblebees the day after Thanksgiving, but the manager expects to have everything ready for Christmas. One aspect of the post-Thanksgiving sale remains a mystery. A sales clerk on the 2nd floor got shot in the foot by a bullet fired from the ground floor. Nobody knows how it happened. Most of the news is wonderful. Penny found her ring. Yes, and when the New York lawyers told her she's entitled to the fortune, she announced that she will pay off all the town's debts. Perhaps best of all, a communique just arrived from the National Commission of Municipalities declaring that Buford has been recognized as an all-American town. Isn't that fantastic? And how fitting. With our finances secure and our reputation exalted, there remain only a few loose ends in this community. Unfortunately, the Black Marshmallow is back in business after a recent shutdown. Now, I have a wonderful plan to put a stop to this wickedness. Listen carefully. End of play.